Hey everybody, what's up? Avatar Chief here, coming at you again to bore the ever-loving crap out of your face. We're playing some Black Ops 4 TDM today. We're going to be using my favorite gun in the game, and I just kind of want to ramble about meaningless things that no one else cares about. I suppose when I say that I want to talk about things nobody else cares about, I should be a little bit more specific and say that I want to talk about video games. More specifically, I want to talk about maybe one or two games that I played during my childhood that really influenced me, because not a lot of people in my personal life care about video games, at least not like within my immediate family, or at least, I guess to be more specific than that, they do, but they're interested in different games that I have no real interest in playing. Like, my dad and my stepmom play this Dungeons and Dragons game on their PlayStation called Neverwinter. And, I mean, I like D&D, but I don't know, it just doesn't seem like it would be my kind of game, especially when I hear about, you know, since it's a free-to-play game, how the microtransaction system in that game is even more egregious than the microtransaction system is in this game. As far as I'm concerned, it's way worse in this game. But it's nice just to be able to relax and talk about video games and stuff. But I know the two games I was thinking about talking about that I really enjoyed growing up because I didn't have access to online play and stuff until I was probably about 13, maybe 14 years old. Oh, jeez. The two games that I played a lot when I was a kid that I really always had a soft spot for were Indiana Jones and the Emperor's Tomb and Batman Vengeance. I mean, those two games were pretty much my entire childhood on a plate. Like, I did almost nothing but play those games because one was a Batman game and the other was an Indiana Jones game. What more is there to love? Growing up, my dad used to read Batman comics to me, like, all the time, and I used to watch Batman the Animated Series, so I grew up with Batman as, like, one of the pillars of my life. And when I was a little kid, I loved the Indiana Jones movies, because it was a great adventure flick. Also, before you even say anything, I know I couldn't hit that guy. That was a terrible play, but I managed to get him somehow. Wow, I cannot aim right now. Okay. And they're both pretty much the same kind of game, too, which is what makes my love for them even more interesting. It gives a glimpse into my soft spot when it comes to older video games. They're both action-adventure games made by completely different groups of people. Indiana Jones, obviously, was made by LucasArts way back in 2003, 2004, and Batman Vengeance was made by Ubisoft way back in the day, 2003, 2004, when I was like a little boy, could barely stand. But God, did I love playing video games when I was a kid. And then one day I realized, wait a minute, you can play Halo on the internet. And this was right around the same time that gaming started to blow up on YouTube. And, you know, people had... This was around the same time that everyone and their mother started playing games online and, like, posting stuff on YouTube. You know, one of my earliest YouTube memories was watching some machinima made by a couple of guys on Sandtrap in Halo 3. If I remember right, it was Sandtrap. I could be wrong. Anyway, it was like a 5-part miniseries, and then it just ends with all of them dying, and it's the most lackluster ending. But because I was like 12 at the time, I thought the humor was fucking hilarious. I thought it was the funniest thing I had ever seen, because I didn't know what Red vs. Blue was yet at that point. And God, I watched it constantly. Like, I would watch it on repeat every week. And I would sit at my grandma's computer eating potato chips and salsa, and I would just watch this one machinima series over and over. But so yeah, my start into online gaming was the initial realization that people were playing, you know, like Halo 3 and Halo Reach on the internet together. And it was like, I want to do that, you know? And it was like, oh, well, you know, you can play multiplayer and, like, just try and kick each other's asses. And it's like, that sounds like fun. I want to do that. And then, yeah, I want to say when I was 13 or 14, I finally got Xbox Live Gold for the first time and played Halo Reach. And I was fucking awful at it. But I got super competitive, right? So in the back of my mind, it's like, all right, well, I might suck now, but I'm just gonna keep doing this until I get better at it. And that's what I did. Obviously, I don't want to say my taste in games has changed, but I mean, we haven't had a mainline Halo release since Halo 5 in 2015. Like, yeah, we got Halo Wars 2, but that's not even a first-person shooter. Like, that's a strategy game. You know, they're completely different genres. I'm also on a Relentless right now. That's surprising.
UAV available for tasking.
But, yeah, and I got really off topic, didn't I? I was initially talking about how much I enjoyed Indiana Jones, The Emperor's Tomb, and, ooh, 43 and 6. Damn. I'm going off, apparently. But yeah, back to what I was saying earlier. I got better at online games eventually. Now, obviously, I play Call of Duty more than I play Halo, but that's just because I suck at Halo 5 and we haven't had a mainline release since then. I'm super hyped for Halo Infinite, but that aside, when I was a kid, I used to play Indiana Jones and the Emperor's Tomb, and it was like my favorite game because you were Indiana Jones and you were just going around the world beating up bad guys, like Nazis and evil Turkish guys who were also Nazis, and you were also beating up Chinese guys who were working with the Nazis. I'm noticing a pattern here. Now, obviously, when I was younger, I didn't really know how to express my thoughts as to why I enjoyed the game so much, but the two big things for me is that you're essentially just playing through an Indiana Jones movie. Like, that's how it feels to play Emperor's Tomb. It feels like you're playing through an Indiana Jones movie. And the combat is so satisfying. Like, punching a guy in the face, just the weight of the characters and their reactions, it feels real. It feels like you're actually decking a Nazi, and it's so satisfying. Like, it's pure freedom on a stick. You know, I'm not a very patriotic person, but when it comes to punching Nazis, I'm all for it. Every day.
Going out.
But you were essentially just playing through an Indiana Jones movie. And obviously this was before Kingdom of the Crystal Skull came out, but the game tapped more into the, like, crazy supernatural shit that was present in the first three movies than Kingdom of the Crystal Skull did during its entire runtime. Like, obviously you had stuff with the aliens, you know. It's not related to things like the Ark of the Covenant or the Holy Grail, you know. It's got nothing to do with supernatural things in the sense of religion. It's got to do with supernatural things in the sense of alien invaders. And growing up, I never understood why people didn't like that movie. You know, because it was different, obviously. But, well, obviously I was a little kid, I didn't mind it. You know, and I think a lot of people they chose to read too much into, like, how sciencey it was supposed to be. You know, like, Indiana Jones couldn't survive falling, you know, from said height in a metal bridge. He would die upon impact. It's like, you do realize it's a movie, right? You know, this is the same guy who found the Ark of the Covenant, watched some Nazis' faces get melted off, and then went home and banged a girl he met.
Care package available for tasking.
Like, it's like people forgot that they're watching a movie. And I think a lot of people just chose to dislike it because it wasn't like, oh, Indiana Jones found Jesus. Like, people took it way too seriously. But, enough of me sitting here praising Indiana Jones. I actually want to talk about Batman Vengeance now, because that game is the same sort of thing for me, like, on an emotional level. The reason I love that game so much, it's mostly because it feels like you're playing through an entire season of the animated series, and the combat is insanely satisfying. And yeah, like I said, it's like you're playing through a season of the show. Like, if there was ever, you know, a Batman the Animated Series Season 5, this was totally it, like 110%. There was nothing better. Like, nothing came close. Obviously, you know, the game's getting to be on the older side now, you know, and if you have an original Xbox, you have a PlayStation 2, I think it was even on the GameCube, or you have a Windows 95 PC, you can go ahead and play it. Like, and it's a fantastic game. And I love it to pieces, but I can't play it on PC, sadly, because it does not work on newer Windows machines. It only works on, like, Windows 95 and Windows 98, if I recall. But anyway, I loved it when I was a kid. I still do. I actually, just this past year, went back and replayed it. Just got it in my head that I needed to play some Batman, and I didn't want to play the Arkham games, because I love the Arkham games to death, but, you know, I wasn't a little kid when those came out. You know, I was a preteen, you know, going on to being a teenager, which is obviously a different thing back then for me. You know, that was after my whole life was, you know, turned to sad, mushy ashes. You know, I wasn't carefree and all that nonsense anymore, so those games, I have a very different state of mind when playing them, but with Batman Vengeance and Indiana Jones The Emperor's Tomb, it's like, why would I want these games to be anything different than a good old-fashioned nostalgia trip? Right down memory lane. Oh, give it to me, baby. Oh, yes! 5-piece. And I have another Hellstorm missile, too. Alright, time to be that guy. No, this is not gonna be a 5-piece. Darn. That was a 1-piece. Well, I guess I did get a 6-man. It's a split 6-man. But I got it. Oh. I got too caught up in whether I would land the shots or not. I didn't think about actually hitting him. I'm like, oh, just stand there and hope. Man, why are all the noobs playing the game all of a sudden?
Medical override system available.
42-7. Apparently today is my day after all. Obviously, when I was a little kid, I also played Halo. I played the first game for probably, like, 5 years before I got a chance to play another game, and I didn't even get to play Halo 2 first. I got stuck playing Halo 3. So I had no idea what was going on in the story, and I didn't understand where the hell Master Chief got his new armor from. I had no idea why the hell he was falling from space at the beginning. Like, I didn't know why we were suddenly friends with the elites. That didn't make any fucking sense, because I had no context. But I grew up playing first-person shooters like Halo. The first Call of Duty game I ever played was actually, hey, funny story, it was actually Call of Duty 3 on the original Xbox. I didn't get to play Modern Warfare until a couple years later, I want to say. Not when that game came out, but when my dad finally got around to buying it for us. But that's when I first started playing Call of Duty, and I've been loving it ever since. I started out, obviously, without internet, so I played the campaigns, and that's the main reason that I'm kind of disappointed that this game didn't have one. But after Black Ops 3's campaign, it's probably best we didn't get one with this game. But anyway.
Outcome? Train go boom.
Enough of me rambling about shit I enjoyed in my life when I was younger and what it's like to revisit it now and, just enjoying nostalgia. This video is probably really rambly and probably didn't make a lot of sense, but the main thing was I wanted to use the KN and just talk. And obviously, since video games are my passion in life, since I'm boring and stupid and can't think of anything else to do with myself, I figured, hey, why not talk about a couple games I played when I was a kid? Kind of go over that and how it feels to reminisce on them and go back and play them now as a quote-unquote adult. But anyway, yeah, enough rambling from me. Hope you found at least some form of enjoyment. Maybe this will get you to go and check out one of those older games. Maybe you'll go back and play some games that you played when you were a kid, like maybe, Banjo-Kazooie. I know a lot of people who grew up playing that game and still adore it to this day. Go play some Banjo-Kazooie, just instead of sitting here and, grinding contracts or, trying to level up in Halo or whatever, just go play something relaxing, go have fun. I think a big problem for me is that I tend to get way too involved in the competitive side of the game. I don't sit back and relax, but this was a good change of pace for me. I didn't get angry or anything. I was just rambling about video games. So there probably aren't going to be a whole lot of cuts in this video, and this part of the video is probably going to be stupid long, but I'm going to shut up now. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, subscribe to see more video game content. At the moment, it's mostly going to be Black Ops 4, so if you enjoy that, obviously, subscribe. Turn on the notification bell so you'll know whenever I post a video, since I don't have an upload schedule. And I will see you guys next time. Whenever the hell that is. Bye-bye.